All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of Monday Motivation. Hope you guys had a wonderful weekend as we close in on the end of summer, even before it got started, right? Welcome to the end of summer, going into the fall. So, guys, welcome. And today we're going to continue this conversation about identity because, you see, the fact is, identity drives action. Identity drives action. And I know a lot of you are struggling to find time for exercise. And you're struggling to find time for exercise because exercise is something that you do that is separate from who you are. You see that? For you, exercise is something you do which is separate from who you are. And if you keep treating exercise like a chore, you will always struggle to stay consistent. But here's the thing. When you transform it into a ritual, a practice, a piece of your identity, you stop needing motivation altogether. You just live it. You don't need motivation. It doesn't matter if you're motivated or not. You show up because it's who you are, right? So how many times have you told yourself, I just don't have time to work out today, or I'll fit it in when things calm down. I have to see when I can fit it in this week. I've heard those phrases so many times, and I've had to correct you. It's not something you fit in, right? And here's the thing. How many times did life actually calm down, right? Almost never. Because as soon as it calms down, something else will always show up. So there will always be something else that supersedes what you're doing. Why? Because it is just another task for you. And here's the truth, folks. You don't have a time problem. You have a mindset opportunity. This is your mindset opportunity to shift your thinking from exercise altogether. Forget about exercise. I don't want you to exercise at all. I want you to forget about exercise. I want you to adopt a physical practice. A physical practice is a fitness ritual. It's something you do because it's meaningful to you. It's meaningful to your life. It's a part of your very existence. It's a part of who you are. And you see the difference? When you go from a task, something you try to find time for, something you try to fit in, because it's just another task like going shopping or taking out the trash or cleaning your house. It's just a chore. It's another task to be done. And when you look at it that way, well, of course you're going to struggle because you have so many tasks, right? But here's the difference. A ritual is a series of actions performed primarily for their symbolic values, right? And, in the early days of mankind, humankind, rituals were prevalent. Not so much today, you had, people use rituals to mark all kinds of important milestones, such as birth, death, transition into manhood, womanhood, lots of events. And a ritual is a way of, here's the thing, anchoring our thoughts and intentions in the subconscious mind through symbolic actions in order to affect change. Rituals anchor our thoughts and intentions in the subconscious mind. And this is what fitness rituals do. Fitness rituals are important because over time, they will program your subconscious mind in a way that makes it effortless for you to engage in whatever activity you're engaged in, your physical practice. Right? Back in the days when I was a corporate suit and tie guy, I used to get up at 5 a.m. every morning and go running in the Santa Monica Mountains. That was my ritual. It was a daily ritual, right? And that for me was what I did. It was part of my practice. Did I feel like getting up at 5 o'clock every morning? No, but the way I felt doesn't matter. And that's the thing, guys. You have to get away from doing things based on how you feel. You do them because it is who you are. It is a part of who you are. So, fitness rituals, they can be very simple, right? Could be simple as going to the gym the same time every day, attending your favorite classes every week at the same time, performing your fitness regime at the same time on a regular basis, right? Regularity is the most important thing with fitness rituals. Because in order to program your subconscious to assist you, it's important to perform the same series of actions at the same time regularly, right? Sounds familiar? The things you do over and over again will eventually become a habit. So your rituals will become a habit. They will be programmed deep down in the subconscious, and your subconscious will help you. So even when you don't feel like doing it, guess what? It doesn't matter. You will be pushed to do it anyway, because that is what the subconscious mind does. That is what habits do. They help you along. They assist you in moving forward. So, guys, here's the thing. You struggle with time because right now, for most of you, exercise feels optional. It's another task. It's something you're telling yourself you have to do. I have to exercise. Oh, I have to do my walk. I have to. You don't have to do anything but die and pay taxes, right? You don't have to. So if it's something you have to, it feels optional because you've been framing it as a task, another thing on your to-do list, which is so bloody long. Where am I going to fit it in? Oh no, it's a task. And everything on your to-do list is negotiable. They can be bumped. They can be skipped. They can be ignored. But rituals, on the other hand, rituals is sacred. Rituals are who you are. You don't find time for rituals, guys. You build your life around them. You don't find time for rituals. You build your life around them. You don't say, I don't have time to brush my teeth today, do you? Why? Because it's part of who you are. It's non-negotiable. If you don't brush your teeth, you stink. Same with your rituals. They're not optional. Rituals are non-negotiable. They're who you are. It's part of your daily existence. And that's the secret to consistency. Right there, I just summed it up for you. That is the secret to consistency. Stop trying to find time for exercise and start creating fitness rituals by building a physical practice that becomes your identity. Right? That is where you go, and that is the power of consistency. And think about it. When someone says, I'm a runner, they don't wake up every day deciding whether or not to go running, do they? It's just who they are. It's what they do. When I tell someone I'm a bodybuilder, because I'm a bodybuilder, I'm building my best body every day. That's what I do. Right? There's no debate in whether or not I'm going to hit the gym. There's just no debate. It is already programmed in there, and everything else in my life is programmed around my gym time. You see where consistency comes from, guys? Your identity. Identity drives action. So who are you? You need to decide who you are. And when you define yourself as the person who engages in a particular physical practice on a regular basis, you know exactly when you're going to do it, then you'll see that you don't need motivation. You don't need more discipline, guys. You need a new identity. Because when you anchor movement in identity, when you anchor your physical practice in identity, you stop relying on motivation. You just live it. It's just something you do. Like Nike said, just do it. You just do it. There is no wavering back and forth. There is no inconsistency. There is no thought behind it. It is just something you do. You don't have to think about your physical practice. I know it's much easier for me. I've been doing this. I've been practicing this since I was very young. Since I was in high school, I was an athlete. I started martial arts practice when I was 13. And for me, it's always been a practice. It was my martial arts practice, right? It's not exercise. It's not something that you choose to do or not to do or find time for. It is something that you live, that there is a daily physical practice. So this is your challenge and your opportunity. Because for you to create that future vision that you're after, for you to create that body, for you to transform, for you to metamorphosize from that caterpillar mind that you have to the mind of a butterfly, to the mindset of a butterfly, for you to go through that process of metamorphosis, you must create some rituals around physical practice. You must have some regular rituals, whether they're going to be daily or several times a week, whatever it is for you. That is for you to determine. So here's the 3 big shifts that you must make to make that happen. Number 1, you must go from obligation to practice. Stop saying, I have to work out, I have to exercise. Start saying, this is my practice. A practice is about growth. It's about progress. It's about mastery, not about punishment. It's about getting better. It's about building your best body. It's about building your confidence, building your strength. That is what a practice is. You do it for the sake of doing it because it serves a deeper purpose in your life. So you need to go from obligation. You need to create the shift from obligation to a physical practice. Number 2, you must go from punishment to a sacred time. Exercise is not punishment for eating. It's a sacred time to invest in your health, to clear your head, to reconnect deeply to your body. That is what it is. It's a time to reconnect deeply to who you are. And when you make that happen, when you pick up a copy of my book, Fitness and Spirituality, on Amazon, and you read that and you see what is possible, what a physical practice, where a physical practice can take you, you see the enormous opportunity you have. It's an opportunity to go deeper with yourself, to make discoveries about yourself. Through your physical practice, you can make discoveries about yourself, about how you show up and how you're able to transcend the mundane and make it something deeper, something richer, something more sacred. Where do you think people get to in meditation? You get to a deeper, richer, sacred space in meditation. Well, your physical practice has the same opportunity to take you to that place. There is no different. You can sit and meditate, or you can move and meditate. It is all the same. It doesn't matter if I'm doing Kung Fu, if I'm doing Tai Chi, if I'm sitting meditating on the treadmill. It is all the same thing. I am still meditating. It is a moving meditation. When I'm in the gym and I'm lifting weights, it is a moving meditation. It is a time to go deeper and to really make discoveries about yourself. Shift number 3 that you need to make is it needs to go from sporadic to anchored. Rituals are anchored. Your morning walks, your evening stretches, your midday training, you don't wonder when, you know when. Rituals make it predictable and non-negotiable. Your practice must become predictable and non-negotiable. That is the only way you're going to maintain big results over time. Every single client who I've worked with, and I've been doing this for 30 years, and I've had clients who have made massive transformations and have maintained it for 20, 25, 27 years, the longest. And I can tell you, every single one of them have developed rituals around their physical practice. It's regular. They know exactly when they're going to do it. And it very rarely changes. They guard their process, right? It doesn't get bumped ever. If they need to reschedule, they'll reschedule. But they schedule their lives around their practice. And that is what you must do. And I know it is difficult for you to conceptualize right now. That's why you are where you are. When you go through the process of going from obligation to practice, from punishment to sacred time, from sporadic to anchored, to creating a ritual of a physical practice, you see, you will be at a very different place. You will achieve very different results. You will get beyond struggle. You will be at a place where consistency is the norm. That is how you get to consistency without struggle. But right now you're going to be struggling because it's still task-based, right? And when you're still task-based, then that is negotiable, right? Everything on your to-do list is negotiable. It can be bumped by something more important. So, what you want to do, guys, I'll give you some very practical things to focus on. Number one, choose an anchor time. Pick the time of day when your ritual fits best. Choose an anchor time. And be consistent with that anchor time. If you're going to train in the morning, at lunch break, in the evening, right after work, anchor it there. Let that be your anchor time. All right? Again, back when I was a corporate guy, my ritual was I go running in the morning in the mountains, in the Santa Monica Mountains. I go to work. When I leave work, I go directly to the gym. I do my bodybuilding training. That was my ritual. Very rarely was that interrupted. If necessary, I would reschedule if something must be done after work. I would reschedule, maybe do it a little later. But you got to choose an anchor time and be consistent with that. Start small. 10 minutes of consistent ritual beats 1 random hour once a week, right? 10 minutes, start small. 10 minutes today. That is where you want to start. Pair it with joy. You want to pair it with joy. Listen to your favorite music, your favorite podcast, audiobook. Make it something you look forward to. How can you make it joy-filled? How can you have it lead to some joy moments in your life? I got to tell you, I can't tell you how many times I have played ball against Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. I have played tennis against the best tennis players in the world, and guess what? I won. I won. That is the opportunity you have. You see, your brain can't tell the difference between a good fantasy and reality. It's all the same thing. So have your practice time be a time of creative visualization. You got to pair it with some joy. You got to create a mantra around it and say this. This is my practice, not my punishment. This is my practice, not my punishment. Here's your challenge of the week, guys. This week, I want you to redefine your workout. Stop calling them exercise. Call them your physical practice. I want you to adopt a physical practice. I want you to start creating rituals around your physical practice. Choose an anchor time. Start small. Pair it with joy. What are you going to do to make it more fun? You're going to listen to your favorite music? I tell you, I create so many different playlists of music. So when I work out, I'm always listening to my favorite music, and I choose the music based on what I'm doing. So it's inspirational. If I'm going hard and heavy training, I choose music that's going to push me to go hard and heavy, right? If I'm doing more stretching and lighter work, I choose music that is more soft and ethereal and flows and makes me feel that way. I choose music to take me in the mindset that I want to be in. That is pairing what you're doing with joy. So, I want you this week, your challenge, I want you to define your practice. My practice is, if it's going to be strength training, my practice is strength training, so I can show up strong for my family. Or my practice is walking first thing in the morning, my daily walk to clear my mind and fuel my energy. Because when you ritualize it, you realize it. Guys, when you ritualize it, you realize it, right? So I want you to affirm this. I want you to say this to yourself. Exercise fades when life gets busy. Exercise fades when life gets busy. Rituals last because it's part of who I am. Rituals last because it's part of who I am. I don't just work out. I live a physical practice that transforms me. I don't just work out. I live a physical practice that transforms me. You see the difference? I hope you're really getting it. For you to maintain big results, you've got to transform. You've got to rise. You've got to create that shift in your mindset. You've got to go from exercise to ritual. You've got to go from exercise to a physical practice. You got to go from exercise to identity. The things you do must become a part of who you are, or they will never last. I'm going to leave you with a passage from my book, Fitness and Spirituality. And again, this book is over 20 years old now, my very first book. This section is called Stillness of Motion. There is something better in us because of our practice. We learn to touch a new dimension of sight, sound, feeling, and perception. As we dance through the energy of heaviness, boredom, and fatigue, we learn to move with the feelings, surrender to the moment, and breathe in the silence. Follow the breath, let it be your guide into a world where your wild, ecstatic spirit roams free. Out there beyond the roar of the crowd, the clatter of machines, or the thunder of racing feet lies a still point. It is the silence heard by every mystic doing withdrawal and contemplation, a stillness of luminous calm that is felt deep within the cellular walls of the body. In this stillness, there is peace, there is freedom, there is a certain richness and fullness of being. There is life making itself visible to those daring souls who have chosen to walk the path of dancing with God. That is a passage from my very first book, Fitness and Spirituality, guys, and that is the opportunity that you have. You have an enormous opportunity to change your perception of what exercise can be, to go from exercise to physical practice, to create a ritual around your regular physical practice. And I would recommend having a daily physical practice. Yes. That is the opportunity that you have here. That is how you build consistency. That is how you go beyond boredom. That is how you go beyond motivation. You don't need motivation for anything at all. You need identity. Identity drives action. You need to be doing things that are grounded in who you are, your very identity. That is the only way that you will maintain big results over the long term. Otherwise, it will be a struggle for you. Habits will come, habits will go. You will get some results, you'll fall back. You will constantly be yo-yoing back and forth. You must adopt a mindset of your practice needs to be grounded in your identity. The things you do must become who you are. You do the things you do because they are who you are. That is what you live. That is what you breathe. That is how you go to bed at night, how you wake up in the morning. That is your identity. So the things you do can't be just tasks or chores. They must be who you are. I hope that's helpful.